has become the holy grail throughout Europe. But in California, it's even more important because we have so much sunshine. We have such a long, dry growing season. We should be making delicious, ripe, full-bodied wines. The trick is, though, to retain that balance and to retain that liveliness. So to me, for California, limestone is even more important.
It is incredibly easy to fall in love with Ballard Canyon. It is one of the most beautiful areas in an already beautiful area of California. But tell us about your vineyard, your soil, and all the elements, the terroir that go into your wines.
Yeah, Ballard Canyon is amazing. I mean, just gently rolling hills dotted with oak trees. There are now 15 vineyards in Ballard Canyon. We have the oldest vines in the AVA at Stolpman. But it's just this perfect kind of central set of north-south hills within the greater St. Ynez Valley. So when you're in Ballard Canyon, you feel completely removed from the surrounding towns of Los Olivos, Solvang, and Buellton, St. Ynez over there. Yet you're from our vineyard like 8 minutes to either of those little towns. So you're very central within greater wine country. But once you're in there, it's just like this tiny little winding country road with no center paint strip. It hasn't changed in my lifetime. And I don't think it'll ever change, knock on wood. But yeah, the northern part of Ballard Canyon, it's about a 2 square mile limestone outcropping. It's a very young limestone outcropping, so it was generated only 2 to 3 million years ago. And as you go further north to Paso Robles, you get about twice as old, up to like Calera, another double in age of limestone. Same thing going all the way up to Ridge Montebello. And the reason I bring that up is that the longer limestone just ages, the more neutral it gets. So the magic of limestone is that seashells, what limestone is made out of, don't have acidity. So anything you grow on limestone will have the opposite of that, which has become the holy grail throughout Europe. But in California, it's even more important because we have so much sunshine. We have such a long, dry growing season. We should be making delicious, ripe, full-bodied wines. The trick is, though, to retain that balance and to retain that liveliness. So to me, for California, limestone is even more important than it is in a cooler climate with a more compact growing season where you're already going to have higher acid. And then beyond that, we're just to our west at Santa Rita Hills, so all Pinot and Chardonnay. You don't get quite the peak heat that you do in Ballard Canyon, and you don't get as cold at night. So we have a 40-degree drop every day in temperature. So in July, our hottest month, we'll peak out at 92 and then get down to 50 at night. And that, just like the limestone, allows the vines to recover and refresh, and then have the long sunny day. The other really cool thing about Santa Barbara County is that the entire wine country is out on the corner of California. I always say, look at the map of California. You see that 45-degree turn in the middle of Lake Tahoe. We're on that equivalent, but on the western border, the coast, the ocean. So we're literally out on the elbow of California, with all the Arctic flow of the Pacific Ocean trapped off Point Conception, wanting to push in, and then it's actually getting sucked out by the Mojave Desert, a giant vacuum, because the Sierra Nevadas actually terminate directly to our east, which differentiates us from Paso Robles, from Monterey, from Sonoma, from Mendo. In the macro weather pattern kind of thought, they're all sheltered from the desert because they have that massive mountain range blocking. then all of a sudden we don't have that. And so that opens up that vacuum out to the Mojave. So the wind in Ballard Canyon is crucial. My dad had no idea about that. That was something that we fell into, and that Ruben, living on the vineyard, feeling what the vines felt, checking how much each leaf was pulling for water, how thirsty the vine is. Because we're so windy and we get cool at night, we can dry farm. Like in 23, we'll dry farm 80% of our vines. All of our mature vines will be completely dry farmed. And we can't do that if we don't have the wind and if we don't have the limestone to retain some moisture from the winter way, way deep down in that chalk.
You tell us your website, tell us your social media, tell us any way we can learn more about Stolpman and taste your wines.
Yeah, stolpmanvineyards.com. And then we both have Stolpman Vineyards and Stolpman So Fresh on Instagram. Yeah, and please come and taste in Los Livos, or email us if you're coming, if you want to check out the vineyard. Love to do every month. I do vineyard hikes, and throughout the year, it's really fun to just show, talk about everything I'm talking about dry farming and about food thinning, and look at these tiny little clusters right now that are flowering, and pray that there's no major wind events in the next couple weeks. And it's just really cool to be out there and actually hike the hills and look at every different varietal and the way we train it, the way it naturally behaves. So yeah, come visit and yeah, buy the wine and love it and buy more of it, and then I'll keep making it.